Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first two guests today are both from Alcona Farm to Fork. I have Judy McNeil and Adam Bechta. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Nancy.
And Judy, when you first got here, I told you I loved your post on Facebook, and I shared it because you said some really cool things that we want to talk about the farm conference today, but it's not a typical farm conference, and we want people to understand that if you're a person who likes to know where your food comes from, if you're a person who raises food, if you own a restaurant, if you're just a regular citizen, you will get something out of this farm conference.
Absolutely.
It's a vision.
It is a vision, and it really that's what differentiates us from some of the other small farm conferences that you might encounter throughout the state. And I've been to them. They're wonderful. You know, you learn your nuts and bolts. But what ours is, it's unique in that it really takes the step back and go, what is it that you envision in your life, whether it's for your business, whether it's for a farm, if you want to start a farm, if it's for your own life, you know, maybe you're not going in the right direction or really want to kind of do something else. This is the program for you, and we are bringing in somebody that is just absolutely fabulous. It's Amy Emberling from Zingerman's Bakehouse, which is this world-renowned place in Ann Arbor. Have you ever been there?
Yes, I took the bread baking class.
Did you?
Yes.
I've done the tour de food.
Oh,
I have too. That's so good.
I've had many Reuben sandwiches.
Yes, yes. So we're really excited to bring her in, and that's what's kind of unique is that instead of focusing on just the minutia of how to start a small farm, we really want to kind of take that step of what do you envision, how can you be successful, and we're bringing in the right person who has demonstrated a really, really successful business, and using their model, having them come in and talk to us about how you can envision your own success.
And Adam, you are a farmer in Alcona County, and you're very blessed to have the support of the Farm to Fork movement, and you're a big part of it too.
Oh, I don't know how big of a part of it I am. I love being part of it in any case. But
well, he's actually the person, when we think about who we would like to bring to Alcona County, the Adam Bechtas of this world. This is what
I'm an
we want.
archetype. How about that? Yeah, one thing I wanted to say is it is really interesting to have a farm conference focus on visioning as a concept. A lot of farmers are really focused on how do I produce food, and that's very important. You can't be a farmer without doing that. But if you let your business slide by, then you're not doing your job.
And as
a top-of-house business owner, you have to figure out how to do these things, and you have to figure out the direction you want to grow in. So to have a program about visioning could be very, very helpful to someone who's already pretty technically adept at farming.
So tell me about your farm.
Well, my farm is pretty small, and we grow a lot of specialty crops. We grow a lot of culinary mushrooms, for example, and medicinal mushrooms. We grow lots of produce, but some kind of offbeat produce. This year we're actually starting to pilot a program for some grains, which is interesting in the context of this this conversation. That's the focus of the Friday night event related to this conference, is about using local grains to produce food, and that's something that I've had conversations with a number of people in this area, and it's not really being done. So we're starting to pilot a program this year about it, and I'm really interested to hear what Amy has to say about it.
So start us out with the conference, Friday night.
Friday night is, first of all, it's going to be fabulous.
The date, first of all.
Oh, geez, February 28th.
Okay.
And doors open at Lost Lake Woods at 6 p.m., and the program starts at 6:30. What Amy Emberling is going to be doing is she's going to be doing a demonstration on how to mill your own grains, featuring Michigan-grown grains. And she is even bringing in her own mock mill, which is a tabletop mill that you can use, purchase yourself, to make your own flour. So I'm picturing, as a dietitian, I think of people who are gluten intolerant that might want to use alternative grains in order to produce their own flour. Cool way to do it.
I, as a farmer, am thinking about heirloom grains that grow well
There
in
you
this
go.
area as opposed to things that aren't necessarily well adapted to this area. So
Perfect.
those are two great examples.
Yeah, great
Yes.
example. So being able to do that, but more importantly, getting to taste it. So Amy is bringing some of her Zingerman's food with her, and that's what Friday night's going to be about, is learning and tasting at the same time. And she's got some really wonderful products that she's bringing. I'm not going to say what they are. Some of them I can't even pronounce, but they are going to be delicious. If you've ever been to Zingerman's and tried any of their food, you know it's going to be good.
Yes, I do. Okay, Saturday. What's happening Saturday?
Saturday, we're going to start out with, Amy is going to start out with a keynote speech talking about visioning and talking about the whole story behind Zingerman's and how they started out with just 2 employees back in 1982 and have grown into 750 employees, 10 different businesses, 70 million in profit. They're just really, kicking butt and taking names. What she'll do afterwards is she will then go into an actual workshop helping everybody develop their own vision. And then we have Doug Paulus from Northern Market in Grayling. He'll be coming in talking about an opportunity for all of us here in Northern Michigan, for people, farmers and the like, that's going to address being able to do better distribution of food that's grown
Been
on their
hearing a
farm.
lot about that.
Oh my gosh, and it's going to be great.
It's what people term a food hub.
A food hub,
and
right.
it's a very important model. It's something that we've been lacking in this area
Yes.
for forever, essentially. So it's a
Wow.
very exciting project.
Yes.
So he's going to update us on what's going on with that, and we then have what Adam is going to be working on.
Right, and we've invited some local business owners and farmers to come in and sit on a panel discussion, which I'll be moderating, about taking it beyond the visioning into reality and the things that happen after you really pull the trigger and have to deal with, well, I wrote that down and it sounded great, now what? So we've got some people who have experience and have done that process, and we're going to be talking about the way things changed for them and what stayed the same and what growth looks like. So it should be a pretty interesting discussion.
And there are names that you'll recognize,
Okay.
like Greg Wondinski from
Okay.
Hungry Hippie. Konwinsky?
Konwinsky.
Yep.
From Hungry Hippie.
Yes.
And some of the other folks.
Yeah, we've
All
got
local.
some farmers from the area, Randy Melberg from Grace Acres, Aaron Quain from Wild Hair Farms. So it should be a pretty lively discussion.
Sounds good. Okay, we're almost out of time, so I need to know how we register to attend this wonderful event.
You can contact us through our website, which is falcona.org, and look for us there, or certainly just give me a call. My number,
Okay, go ahead.
989-335-1402.
Thank you both very much for being here, and I know it's going to be a wonderful, exciting event. And thank you for working on this so long to bring this to our community.
Thank you, and thank you, Nancy.
Nice
Thank
to talk
you.
to you. Thank you.
I'll be right back following these messages. Today is Eric Magnus Eubanks from Alpena County Library. Hi, Eric.
Hello, Nancy.
How are you today?
I am doing quite well. Very, very busy. We have a lot going on and trying to keep our head above water, but I think people will be really excited when everything we're working on is done.
And you know, I have to say, I go there and get my books on tape all the time. I'm one of your best books on tape customers, I think. But I was there yesterday and I was just amazed at how the ladies were disinfecting all the areas in the library. They were disinfecting because there had been kids there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't think of that as part of your day, but there were 2 ladies and they were going like crazy disinfecting.
Yeah, it's with all the illness that has been going around in the area schools and oddly enough, when people are sick, sometimes they come to get books that we do our best to keep on top of everything and keep everyone's hands clean.
Well, thank you for that very much.
So,
And then today we want to talk about 2 upcoming author series events.
Yeah, typically in the past we've done authors in the fall. This year we have authors in the spring.
Ooh.
And we have 2 big ones coming up in April. First on April 18th, Saturday evening at 8 o'clock, is the noted humorist David Sedaris.
Okay.
He's one of the most popular humorists in the country, and this is really a special opportunity for us. And we've already sold over 300 tickets for the event. In fact, we sold over 100 in the first hour that we
Oh
made
my goodness.
tickets on sale. He has a national following, and we've heard of people coming out of state to this. So
Wow.
this is one that might sell out. Tickets are $25 for the orchestra level seats at Alpena High School,
Okay.
and $15 for the all the other seats.
Okay.
And there are still seats available, but this is one where if you wait to the last minute, you may be out of luck.
Okay, and I know you said we're very special, but you know, we've just become used to the library bringing in authors and events that people in big metropolitan cities wouldn't be able to get, so.
Yeah, and certainly we've had people, we get calls from libraries around the country saying, how on earth did you get this person to come here? And the truth is, you know, over time we've built up a good reputation in the industry of doing these events really well, and you know, agents contact us
Perfect.
trying to place authors on their tours, and it's a wonderful thing to offer the community.
Okay, so what's the next event?
Next one is part of the Michigan Humanities Council Great Michigan Read, and that's going to be on Friday, April 24th.
Okay.
And that's Dr. Monahana Tisha, who is last year's and this year's Great Michigan Read. She is the pediatrician in Flint who did all of the blood testing with children in
For lead.
Flint for lead, and really uncovered the extent of the problem with
Gives me
the water
goosebumps.
there. And she wrote a book about that experience called What the Eyes Don't See, and I've had calls from people saying that they're driving from hours away out of town to hear this. This is a free event, courtesy of the Michigan Humanities Council, and as an added bonus, we've been able to arrange that she's going to be coming up earlier that day and visiting several science classes at Alpena High
terrific.
School. And people that know medical testing and scientific research, you know, one of the things they say is the quality of the research that she did was one of the most impressive things about her, and that, you know, that was what kept it, you know, kept her work from being dismissed, was that it was just so good that they couldn't ignore it.
Well, thanks for bringing her and sharing her with our community.
Yeah, it's a story that still resonates, and of course Alpena, we're in Northeast Michigan, we're having our water issues with
Yes.
PFAS and,
Yep.
and other things, and it's one thing that I know everyone I talk to in Michigan is concerned about water. If there's one thing that unites us all, it's, you know, love of the Great Lakes and water, and I don't know anyone that isn't concerned about those things.
Okay, and next on our agenda is the building. What's coming along with the building?
So we've got quite a job in store for us. We'll be launching major renovations in June. The current schedule has us being ready to bid in the middle of April.
Okay.
Right now, we have it so that we will be moving our history section out of the building to a alternative location, and
Okay.
then we'll be moving things in there, and then and things within the library. And first, basically, we'll be doing the first floor and then the second floor. And we know we will have some brief closures during the 9 to 12 months that this is expected to take, but they shouldn't be any longer than a couple of weeks, and we'll give a lot of notice for when those will be. But when everything is over, I think people will be really happy and pleased with how we've made changes and improvements to the building.
And you know, Eric, just speaking of, you know, being happy, and the voters place their confidence in you when they pass the millage, so we're really excited to see these wonderful things happen.
Yeah, that was the, you know, the good news was that the voters loved us and so much, and very humbling that over the years we've earned that level of trust. You know, the bad news is now we have to deliver on that, and we're happy to do it, but it is going to be a lot of work.
Well, people can anticipate their needs. Like I said, I have the Libby app, so if I can't get for my books on tape, I can use the Libby app. So just, you know, watch for the closures, watch for things happening, plan in advance, you know, get your services, go early, you know, try to work around the schedule, because we understand that.
Right, and this is sort of, these two author events are sort of us going out with the bang, you know, until we ramp up with the building. So we'll be scaling back our programs. Now we'll still have summer, no matter what our shape is, there will be summer read
book club.
And we've been working with the Boys and Girls Club to do some of our programming over there during the summer, and we think that's going to be a good partnership with them to do that. So, you know, rain, shine, dust, you know, summer reading will come through.
Okay, we're out of time, but I just want to let people know these two wonderful events that are coming up. Go to the library and buy your tickets, or you can go online and check them out and get your tickets. Just get your tickets, because they're not going to be available much longer.
That's absolutely right.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Nancy.
Thank you. Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. My guest this morning has fallen victim to that nasty flu bug that's circulating the community, so we're going to go solo today. We're going to talk about what's new at ACC this week, and there's been a lot. So let's get started. ACC was featured in a national magazine called EdTech, which focuses on innovation in technology and higher education. It's probably the preeminent magazine covering that sector in the nation. And their article came out this week. It was the lead article in their magazine. It was entitled "Telepresence Tools Help Colleges and Communities Pursue Rich Partnerships." Michigan's Alpena Community College uses a Cisco platform to support healthcare targeting the opioid crisis. So I would like to read it to you. Alpena Community College sits in northeastern Michigan near the shore of Lake Huron, in a part of the state that some observers have called an education desert. While many in the region may bristle at the term, ACC is the only institution of higher education within 3 hours in any direction. That makes it a focal point, not only for academic learning, but also for facilitating connections with nearby communities, a responsibility that ACC leaders take seriously. And so, when an opportunity arose to seek a federal grant to expand distance learning opportunities and help address the opioid crisis plaguing the area, they jumped at it. We're a community college, notes ACC President Don McMaster. It's in the middle part of our name. We view the community as the entire northeastern side of Lower Michigan. Those are the folks we're attempting to serve. If we don't approach it that way, those folks really suffer from a lack of opportunity. We have to invest, and do invest, in reaching out. Increasingly, colleges see themselves as anchor institutions in their communities, with both the opportunity and the responsibility to spur improvements in areas such as education, economic development, and public health, says Josh Yates, Executive Director for the Ormond Center for Thriving Congregations and Communities at Duke University. Often, IT solutions are the key to supporting these partnerships. There are principled reasons for engaging communities in more equitable ways and serving populations that don't have access to the riches and resources of higher education, Yates says. And there are practical reasons for continuing to push, facilitate, and drive new ways of engagement, new technologies that facilitate, that will definitely be part of the toolkit. ACC was already using telepresence technology to deliver instruction to K-12 classrooms around the region. Then last July, the college received a $500,000 grant to increase the number of telepresence units and the scope of its video conferencing work. Previously, ACC had Cisco MX700 telepresence systems at 2 sites, with 11 rural schools connecting to the institution via the Cisco Telepresence QuickSet. The grant money will pay for an upgrade to the Cisco WebEx room kit sets in those rooms, as well as a camera, as well as equipment for additional K-12 schools and several rural healthcare clinics. The room kit features a camera and a codec and a single device that works with users' screens, integrating speakers and microphones and a Touch 10 controller. Mark Grunder, ACC's IT director, points to the tool's user-friendly nature and explaining why they're a good fit for off-site users, most of whom lack an IT background. The systems are simple to use, he says. They've been pretty much plug and go. The instructor will walk around the room and the camera will follow them automatically. McMaster notes that connecting to the region's K-12 schools is helping to drive enrollment at ACC, which saw a 4.5% enrollment bump in the fall of 2019, the highest increase of any community college in the state. After rolling out telepresence equipment to healthcare providers, ACC plans to host experts on substance abuse treatment who will be able to provide training and information to physicians throughout the region all at once. The technology can also be used for patient counseling, treatment, or drug abuse education for high school students. The technology is flexible enough to be used in multiple ways, McMaster says. We're going to deploy it and support it, and the experts are going to tell us how to use it for people in need. The University of Missouri is also leveraging connectivity to deliver telehealth to far-flung parts of its home state through the University of Missouri School of Medicine and the Thompson Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorders. The state-funded project, ECHO, Extension for Community Healthcare Outcomes, system relies on Zoom video conferencing software along with a variety of hardware to help train physicians on how to diagnose and treat autism. Rachel Mutrex, Senior Program Director of Telehealth at the MU School of Medicine's Missouri Telehealth Network, notes that the wait list for new appointments at the state's 6 autism centers can stretch up to a year. And without an official diagnosis, patients often can't receive services. By engaging and training through telehealth solutions, providers can, across the state, help fill this gap. The system increases access for patients, but more importantly, it increases capacity, Mutrex says. A doctor in an autism center can still only see so many patients in a day, even on video, but we're training 20 providers to manage all their patients. It's an exponential increase in the number of patients that can be cared for. At Portland State University, community partnerships are intrinsic to the institutional mission. This goes to the very DNA of Portland State, says Angela Jackson, Executive Director for Entrepreneurial and Industry Engagement at the school. Our motto is, let knowledge serve the city, and we have a strong history of collaboration with businesses and nonprofits. As with many urban institutions, we not only help provide the local workforce, but we're a steady source of fresh problem-solving approaches, students to work on these problems and big ideas. One such initiative is the Portland State Business Accelerator, which supports tech, bioscience, and green companies from early stages through growth. The PSBA offers facilities, programming, and mentors while also helping startups form relationships with university stakeholders and each other. The most important thing for growing startups is the absence of friction in their daily operations, Jackson notes. Finally, after an institution participates in 1 or 2 partnerships, the focus on community engagement often takes on a life of its own, says McMaster, the ACC president. One program often leads to more opportunities that you didn't see before, and a virtuous momentum takes over. So I want to commend Mark Grunder and Sarah Burt, Mike Colleen, Darren Leitner, Debbie Bayer, and the ACC faculty and adjunct instructors for their inspired work in this area, which resulted in a magazine article I just read to you. First deployed in fall semester 2017, VCS enrollment, of course, was 0 at that time. This past fall semester 2019, 422 students of the 1,500 students that ACC served in the fall were taking coursework using a VCS system. So thank you, folks, for sticking with me. I hope you found that article interesting, and we'll see you again next week.